Welcome back to House on Carrion Hill, House of Bob's cosmic horror adventure played in Pathfinder 2nd Edition in the Galarian campaign setting.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm playing Willen Dappen, the Gnome Wizard.
Hi, I'm Janette. I'm playing Bimpkin, the long snout rat oracle.
Hey, I'm Shubert. I am playing Knib Knub, the razor-tooth goblin fighter.
I'm Trevor, and I'll be playing Theobald, the orc investigator.
And I'm Shaun, your game master. If you like what we do and you want to support the show, visit us at patreon.com/thehouseofbob. Last time on House on Carrion Hill, having successfully infiltrated the workshop floor of Rottman's vats, Tom and the boys go toe-to-toe with the inebriated cultist Rottman Meyer and his fearsome zombie laborers. And today you find yourselves in a pickle. Knib Knub, in the elevated platform to the north of the workspace, behind the leather curtain, currently locked in combat with a zombie. But he's unfortunately quite confused, having been struck by one of Rottman Meyer's strange spells. Theobald, still invisible, and also engorged by his juggernaut potion, slinks along behind Bimpkin. These guys are all on the north side of the vats in the work area. Dead zombies splayed all around them. One still lurching towards you. And then if we go all the way to the south, I'm going to bring my ruler out. It looks like about 80 feet to the south, past all of the bubbling vats, down another set of stairs, and in the lobby of Rottman's vats, Willen Dappen stands alone against a zombie and Keeper Upman-Meyer, who just dimension doored across the entire building. Dan.
Yeah.
Mr. Willen Dappen, it is your turn.
Hooray.
I'm frightened for you.
Me too.
What do you do?
First, I have a question. The doors to my south, are they push doors? Do I need to use an action to open them, or can I just plow through them?
It appears as though the left side of the double door was left ajar.
Awesome. Okay. For diagonal movement, does it count as double every 2 or something?
Your sec diagonal is 10 feet instead of 5.
Okay. So, I think what I'm going to do, in sheer panic, is cast Fireball.
Oh, no. Okay. Can you see
let me
anywhere?
see if I can be out of the distance or range of it. So I've ran out the left door, and I've kind of stepped off to the side of it. And I still have line of sight from the doorway to the zombie. So I'm going to cast the Fireball on top of him and still kind of be out of the way of the door if he comes flying through there.
Okay.
But I think that's my plan.
Is there just the one zombie?
There's one zombie, and then there's what's-his-face, whose name I always forget.
Meyer.
I'm going to make some basic reflex saves in that case.
You will. It is a reflex saving throw of 21.
Rottman Meyer succeeds with a 25, and the zombie critically fails with an 8.
Well, zombie was already near death, apparently, so...
Yeah, so go ahead, do your damage. I'll take half damage on Rottman, full damage on the zombie.
So Rottman's going to take 11, and the zombie will take 46.
And dies.
Obviously.
As well, because fireballs are cooler when they actually blow shit up, I'm going to delete some walls from this building.
Whoa!
As the fireball impacts the front kind of quarter of the building, the explosion rocks the street. You all in the back of the building see a burst of flame and debris go flying. Several of the gangplanks that would have led to where Rottman Meyer is collapse. Flame goes everywhere. This southernmost pool of purple sludge starts flowing out of the side of the building. And, let's see, what's on fire? I'm gonna roll.
What's not on fire?
Good question. So I'm currently rolling some dice to see which squares within the fireball area
Oh, neat.
have caught fire.
What about the square Ruppman was in? That'd be ideal.
I did not roll that one.
Oh, nice.
All right.
The one right in front of the open door is on fire. So that's probably bad for you. Good for
Well,
me.
now there's only an open door because the other door was blown away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That was way more devastating than I thought it would be.
All right. Let me recap for folks at home. The fireball has impacted on top of the zombie, which crit, destroying the zombie completely, incinerating it. Rottman Meyer made his save, took half damage, and the rest of the building also damaged by the fireball. The roof is collapsed. The walls are gone. The stairway is busted up. The left side stairway on the west of the building is still good, coming down into the lobby. And we've got some flames starting to pick up, and they look pretty hazardous. They may just begin to spread. It is now Knib Knub's turn.
What the frick is
Knib Knub,
happening?
you are confused. You're so confused. What do you do?
I don't know.
I guess
What
you
do
have
I do?
Good question. I think you've got a zombie right in front of you that you would be compelled to attack.
I just gotta bite him. I hope that's not you, Tom. 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
All right. And that's going to be 13 damage.
Oh, and it is dead.
All right. Oh, God, I killed Tom.
Knib Knub, you have 2 actions left. Now, the confused condition states that you have to use all your actions to strike or cast defensive cantrips or move so that a target was in reach of your mad flailing.
All right, so I can see that there is one zombie halfway across the room.
On the west side.
Yeah, on the west side. And I'm on the east side. So I guess I would probably just try to scramble over top of all these barrels and rocks and stuff in my way and try to charge as quickly as I can towards that zombie to bite it.
Yeah, sounds good.
As soon as Knib Knub rounds the corner, he suddenly sees a furry guy, and he feels compelled to run over straight towards him.
Scary furry guy.
Right.
Hello?
What are you?
I'm Bimpkin Knib Knub.
What's happening? Why is there so much noise and smelly guys?
Yes, it's a sensitive hearing. We've got bigger ears, but there is a zombie right here.
I think I gotta bite you.
Are you? Oh. I really hope it's my turn.
Knib Knub, trust your instincts.
I used my first action to bite and kill the zombie in front of me. I used my second action to run over here, so I do still have one other action. Do I have to bite Bimpkin?
I think by the rules of the game, you have to bite Bimpkin.
Okay.
But we're going to blame you because you
Sorry.
could have gone a different route. So it's you.
I could have?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, well. So just 16 to hit.
Oh,
I rolled a 5.
That's a miss.
All right. Well, Knib Knub, you managed to kill a zombie, run out towards Bimpkin, almost bite Bimpkin, and now you get to roll a will save to try and cure your confusion.
Here we go. 15.
Nope, you're still confused. I'm sorry. You hear some drunken yelling and stumbling from the lobby of the room, currently on fire. And Keeper Upman-Meyer is going to take his turn. He's going to stumble past the flames to the point where he can get a look at Willen here.
Oh, no.
And he's going to say,
La, 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 I don't want to hear it.
as he stumbles out, do you know what this is going to do to my insurance premiums?
I know a guy.
I'm gonna sue you. I will cast Grim Tendrils.
That sounds like it does damage.
It does. Tendrils of darkness curl out from Upman-Meyer's fingertips. They race through the air. They are going to strike Willen for some negative damage and potentially try to draw some blood out of you. I need you to make a fortitude save.
18.
That is a fail.
Oh, gosh.
Hero point.
Okay. I want to...
I'm using my hero point.
You're using it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Whoa. Nice.
Totally worth it. Critical success. 28.
Definitely worth it. All right. So you are unaffected by these grasping tendrils. It is now the plague zombie's turn. And Rottman Meyer calls out to it. Oh, no, it's dead. Never mind. That's the wrong zombie.
You're dead.
I was looking at the wrong zombie.
I mean, it sounds like something a drunk Rottman Meyer would do.
Dude, just get him.
A pile of ashes. Attack!
He's like, "Oh, you're dead. I just need one dead. This guy."
All right. So now looking at the zombie that
One
I
degree
actually
dead,
still have.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to call that zombie over.
Yeah, maybe. This zombie to the north that Rottman Meyer doesn't even know is around, so he's going to assume it's doing its own business. He's going to shamble up to Bimpkin and strike with a fist. That's an 11.
That's a miss.
All right. I missed, so that doesn't do any damage to you, and it is Bimpkin's turn.
Oh, man. Okay. Bimpkin's probably thinking that Knib Knub is becoming a zombie,
Oh yeah, that totally makes
Classic.
sense.
but he doesn't want to kill him, so I think he's going to command him to stay without knowing that he's confused. Unless I can do a roll to see if I can figure out what's going on with him, so maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, it would cost you an action to do a recall knowledge, but I would let you roll whatever your casting knowledge is.
Okay, Bimpkin doesn't have time to think about this. He's going to assume he's a zombie and cast command and tell Knib Knub to sit. Which I don't even know if he will be able to do because he's confused, but let me see what he has to. It would be a will save. So you shout a command, you can command the target to approach, run away, whatever, and then the effects depend on the target's will save.
Okay.
The target has to be a specific one. So, like, even though I'm standing next to you, like Theobald is standing right next to Knib Knub, you can't see Theobald, so I can't be a target,
no, it's specific.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, good, cool.
Whew. Yeah, you're fine. So this can be a will save for Knib Knub.
All right. That's 23.
Now you roll
Okay,
good?
you passed. Yep.
Nobody tells me what to do.
Not even yourself.
Oh my God, it's too late.
You're not my mommy.
But
Are
I
you
am.
saying that to yourself?
Yes, play into this. I want to hear you roleplay as his mother.
You
But I
are?
was always your mother, and I always loved you.
What? Oh, okay. I won't attack you ever again.
That's right, good little Knib Knub. Okay, so there's still this zombie in front of me here, though, and I've just used a 2-spell command to do that, so that was not great, but I'm pretty sure I'm still holding my staff.
You are.
Or was it my crossbow?
Your crossbow's one-handed.
Which one was I holding, though?
I don't care at this point. It was a while ago.
Okay.
Your last roll, I'm just scrolled up actually, your last roll was a +1 striking hand crossbow. You fired
Okay.
it twice.
But if I am right directly in front of this guy, there's a penalty, right?
Well, you don't have a bolt in it right now.
Man. Okay.
Just drop it and punch him.
Yes.
Or tumble through, or cast heal on it.
Oh, yeah, I could use a 1-cast heal. Okay, I'll do that, because I can't abandon Knib Knub.
Okay.
Why are you healing our enemies?
Well, that's
What?
Tom. It's fine.
Oh, I thought I killed Tom.
Is that a save?
That's a critical fail.
Critical fail. So I take double damage,
It's only a 3, though.
but he's also weak to positive damage.
Oh, so quadruple damage?
So he's going to take even better than that, actually.
There's nothing better than quad damage.
Quantum damage?
To lift the fail, the zombie is weak to positive 10. So it takes an additional 10 points of damage
Cool.
Oh, nice.
from that. So it dealt 16 points of damage.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, so even if you rolled bad, you'd still deal a decent amount.
Yeah,
That's
sweet.
nice.
So that is Bimpkin's turn. The zombie is still up at near death. Just in front of him, it is Theobald's turn. Theobald, you're invisible. You're gargantuanized. Knib Knub is biting Bimpkin.
Can Theobald lift Knib Knub from invisible and remain invisible? Like if I pick him up and... No, I beat that. That's a...
It's an aggressive action.
Maybe if he was your ally, but right now he considers no one his ally.
But what if he cradles him?
Yeah. I think only if I was comfortable with that happening. But Knib Knub's not in the mood for it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to whisper sweet nothings in his ear first.
I think it just has to be in a
Invisible.
non-combat, and you have to
Just
give him some food or something.
do that scene from Ghost with the clay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just do that with the zombie. But instead of cradling, I'll just punch him.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah. So I'm behind Bimpkin invisibly, but I'm going to step forward because Bimpkin and the zombie are both on the plank together. I'm going to stand beside Bimpkin and just sort of reach over diagonally and hit the zombie.
Fireman carry Bimpkin. And then punch him. Not Bimpkin, the zombie.
Can I do that? Is that rules appropriate?
Fireman carrying someone while punching another person is pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with the step to the side, which you've done, or you could tumble through and try and get behind the zombie with an acrobatics roll.
Oh, I would much rather roll acrobatics than sidestep. I'm going to acrobatics with a 28.
Critical success. You are fine. You're on the other side.
Beautiful. I want to try and direct my punch so he doesn't just fall forward into Bimpkin, but more make him spin into the vat.
Well, if you knock him out, he'll spin into the vat. I'm okay with that.
Beautiful. Theobald rubs his knuckles and uses +1 striking hand wraps of mighty blows, becoming visible with an 18.
That is a hit.
Yes! A 7 damage.
He had 6 hit points, so you slam his head into the wall. He bounces off, hits the floor, and then looks up at you. You give him a shake of your fist, and he rolls himself into the vat. You got one action left, Theobald. You're no longer invisible.
Tom?
I wink at Bimpkin and Knib Knub, and then just turn around and book it.
Where the hell have you been?
I'm so confused.
That was so cool.
Thank you, Bimpkin. That was the reaction I was going for.
And make an acrobatics check for me to make sure you don't fall into the vat.
Theobald makes a 16 acrobatics as he scampers along the gangplank.
You are good. Willen. This guy just tried to cast Grim Tendrils on you.
Mm-hmm.
You're badly injured. You're in the street. You just blew up a building. What do you do?
That's an excellent question. What does the rest of the street look like?
Mostly abandoned. You're in the filth right now, right next to the river. There are lots of shacks and industrial-looking buildings where fishmongering might take place. That sort of thing.
Okay, so it's pretty quiet here.
Quiet and destitute.
Yeah. I'm still playing with fear in my heart. So I've kind of run to the west, away from the building, because it's on fire for some reason. And
who did that?
It's so weird.
And just for that little extra bit of safety, I'm going to cast Hydraulic Push on him.
Okay.
So if successful, I'll push him back 5 to 10 feet. I rolled a 30 to hit.
A 30 is a hit.
Damn Skippy. So he's going to get shoved back 5 feet and take 12 damage.
5 feet back takes 12 points of damage.
Mm-hmm. So that leaves us about 65 feet away from each other.
This fight has spilled into the streets. Knib Knub.
This is really, really bad, guys, because I'm apparently confused. There's nothing I can do about it until the end of my turn where I roll a save, and all I have is Bimpkin in front of me who's badly injured. So I might just kill Bimpkin here. And I don't know if there's anything else I can do about it.
I thought,
Right? Like, I just have to attack, right?
Isn't there like a component
happens.
to Confused where you roll to see if like you would attack them?
I think
Like,
that's
you're not
only
just-
if there's multiple enemies.
You're not just straight aggro. Like,
I think I am. Apparently.
you?
He is. This confusion is pretty bad. It's straight aggro until he saves.
oh, okay. Well, that sucks.
Is there anything else I can do other than attack here?
You use your actions to strike or cast offensive cantrips, although I can choose to have you do other actions to facilitate attacking, such as drawing a weapon or moving until a target's in reach. Your targets are determined randomly by the GM, and right now, Bimpkin is your closest and only target.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so mean, Shaun.
Okay, so here's a consideration. Knib Knub's confused and potentially, DM's discretion, but a man suddenly appearing and then winking at him and running away. The act of running is something that in nature causes some creatures to pursue. That's why you don't run away from bears. And sometimes, dogs like chasing you if you run. So maybe Knib Knub might be provoked by Theobald's running.
Knib Knub is like a
and
dog.
Does our resident dog expert agree with this analysis?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Knib Knub just chases things that are running.
Okay.
So
The other
that-
thing, I mean, there are also some barrels that look quite threatening.
That barrel winked at you as well.
Absolutely.
A lot bigger than Knib Knub. So
That's true.
I was
could
just
be-
going to role play that you guys killed Tom because you told me that zombie in front of you was Tom before you did the healing thing, which
but I also
killed
told
it.
you I'm your mother.
Oh, that's true.
Just
Man,
let it happen.
I'm so confused.
My mom killed Tom.
Since GM can allow you to randomly roll for your target, we'll roll between Theobald and Bimpkin.
Right. That makes sense.
Give me a D6.
Mhm.
Odds, Bimpkin, evens, Theo.
Ooh.
4.
There you go.
So I chase after Thea.
Yep. And I'm going to assume you go full speed along the gangway.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ain't no stopping you now.
Does he get down on all threes?
Nice.
Out of my way, mommy. I got to chase that guy. Okay, so that was one movement.
Okay, give me that acrobatics check.
Nat 20.
All right. I'm going to give you advantage on your attack against Theobald. I'm just kidding.
It's only fair. Yeah.
I just do like a triple front flip on top of him. All right, one more move.
Yep. You don't have to roll for that one. You're
Okay.
only 10 feet away on that move.
Perfect. All right, I take my time. I'm like, when the evil bad guy just starts walking towards his
Like the
target.
Terminator. Yeah.
Slowly on the catwalk above the boiling acid pit.
Where are you going?
Wow. You kind of turned into a psychopath.
Oh, I've always been a psychopath. I've just been on you guys' side. All right, here goes nothing. Oh, shit. It's not a crit, but it is a 33 to hit
Ooh,
you.
it might be a crit actually if it's.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
got
might
a
be a
22
crit.
AC, so I think that's
That's a
no.
crit.
that's 12 over.
You have to roll a reflex save.
Oh
If
my
you
God.
are you wearing armor?
Yeah, you have studded leather armor on.
Nice.
I might break it.
Oh, no. This is amazing.
Reflex saving throw of 15.
Oh, no.
I broke your armor.
Oh my God.
You also are going to take 1d6 bleed damage every round until you
Die.
until you make a save, I think.
Well,
Until
let's
you
just
die.
check my Juggernaut mutagen effect.
28 damage.
28.
28 damage, yeah.
All right. So, do you want to explain how you just ran up to me and bit me? Just for
I
the
don't know why.
audience.
This is so funny to me. I can't really do anything about it. I just have to role play Knib Knub going after Tom. Why am I chasing you? Stop running, you idiot! All right, Knib Knub chases Tom down And
if you need some help with the roleplay, you could think of it as like this guy is like tapped into your fears or tapped into your nightmares, and you're kind of like, it's like you're being affected by Scarecrow or something like that. Like,
well, I think that other person is my mommy, and they just told me to go get this person.
What?
And I'm pretty sure that's what Bimpkin said. You were like, go get him, right? Something
Go get him
like
and
that.
give him a big hug. Is what he.
Oh,
what he
you missed
meant,
that
obviously.
part. Yeah.
I took that as I'm in trouble. I need you to go kill that person. So,
Well, and you also just watched that person crush the head of the other person.
Yeah.
Because I killed that zombie right in front of you and then ran away. Oh, after winking at you.
Which was supposedly Tom.
yeah.
I'm
Oh my
very,
God.
very confused. Knib Knub like jumps onto the back of Tom as he's running away and bites onto the top part of his studded leather armor, just ripping the shoulder off of it.
Oh.
And his
My
whole,
God.
I don't know what you call that, carcass or whatever.
Querus.
Yeah, the top part of his armor just starts falling apart.
Oh my gosh.
This is light armor, so -1 penalty to your AC.
Okay.
And
This is
how
the
much?
first time this ability has worked.
And how much damage did you do?
28.
28 damage.
Yikes.
Youch.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Trevor.
It's okay.
That was honestly the best thing Rottman Meyer's done this whole combat is make Knib Knub confused.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather you bite me than bite Bimpkin.
I would have had one
Just-
hit point left.
Yeah, totally. Because like I'm bigger and
Wow.
haven't taken a hit yet. So
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
have this Juggernaut mutagen, so I have temporary hit points right now. I'm also a bit thick. Like
Right, yes.
my perception's down, my will is down.
Oh,
I'm
right,
just sort of
right.
like
Yeah, I forgot.
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
On
Oh, and,
multiple levels.
that's the end of my turn.
Okay.
Mhm.
In that case, I'm going to do Rottman Meyer. All right. Rottman Meyer is going to step out from behind the building, point his dagger in the air, and from it emits a icy blast of cold. A ray of frost is coming at Willen Dappen. That is a 28 to hit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's not a critical, but
Okay. And 15 points of damage.
oh my god.
And it is Bimpkin's turn.
Okay. So I think Bimpkin's probably going to try to daze Knib Knub here.
Okay.
Get him off Theo, so he will run up.
Daze is 60-foot range.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that first then. Okay. So he's just going to try to daze him. I was just kidding. Don't actually get him. So it's going to be another will save for Knib Knub.
All right. That's a 20.
Okay, so you fail.
All right. I'm dazed and confused.
So you take 8 damage.
Okay.
All right.
So Knib Knub takes 8 points damage and gets to roll a d20. You need an 11 or better.
Oh, I rolled a 17.
Woo!
So with a crack, Knib Knub gets a splitting headache, and the apparitions and fear that was driving him to attack his friends fades from his mind. Once again, clear-headed,
But dazed.
But days.
but dazed. I think on a fail, you only take damage. You're not stunned or anything like that. So it's not,
Yeah.
it's not an
Oh,
effect.
sweet.
It's got to be a critical fail for
Ah.
him to be stunned. Yeah, so you're fine.
Awesome. That was perfect then. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a hero point for that,
Woo!
Bimpkin.
Nice.
I don't see Willen. I think something's happening because everything's on fire, so we should go.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
That kind of makes sense.
Did you get that out of your system, Knib Knub? Are you going to keep chewing on my clothes?
What are you talking about? I would never do that to you, Tom.
that bite mark in my armor that's the same shape as your mouth?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Knib Knub's like, it's just beef jerky.
All right, Theo, it is your turn.
So, is Knib Knub on my back?
No.
Okay. He just jumped up and bit me.
Yeah.
I'm going to just continue running. This time, hopefully, I'm going to give Knib Knub a look.
Just run backwards with your eyes on him at all times.
Yeah. A double move is 50 feet.
Yeah, each move is 25 feet. And all those red squiggles you're seeing in the lobby are fire. Be a d6 of damage with a reflex save for half if you move through them.
Okay. And there's no windows down here?
No.
So yeah, I just ran down the plank way. Good. Do I need acrobatics?
Yes.
Yeah. Theobald rolls a 28 for his acrobatics as he runs past the acid vats into the fire-laden lobby.
Very successful. To cross the fire for half damage, an acrobatics or a reflex save, your choice.
I'm going to do an acrobatics. The door that's closest to me, am I able to...
Yeah, you could go out either of those. They're both open.
Okay. Theobald does another acrobatics check. And he cartwheels through the fire. I got a 19 on my second acrobatics check.
Okay, so you'll take just half damage. Oh, I rolled a 1 on a d6, so you take no damage.
Nice.
And I think you've got 5 more feet of movement if you want to take it.
He's to the west. No, wait, east. He's to the east.
I imagine I just run out of like this burning wall of fire out into the outdoors. Am I seeing still a whole bunch, like a half dozen wizards?
Yes, he is still under the effect of mirror image. Theobald runs out of the building, fire and smoke spilling out behind him. Rottman Meyer now stands 15 feet to your east, Theobald. Willen way off to the west, cowering in fear behind a trash can. And I'm going to spread some fire while Willen decides what he's doing with his turn.
I think I'm going to cast something and then I'm going to move out of line of sight. I think that's my best option. So I need something that has decent range. What would Daze do to him?
Daze is a will save for half damage, and if he critically fails, he's stunned 1.
That doesn't sound so bad. Okay, then I will cast a Daze on him.
I got a 25.
Would it be half damage?
Yeah, half damage.
Okay, so I do a total of 4 damage. And then I'm like, well, that didn't work. And then he runs to the north.
Runs to the north along the edge of the building.
He's going to try to get close to the building and see if like there's any windows along the side. Maybe he can smash one for one of you guys to escape.
You didn't see any windows along the side. There's some skylights, but there was the door in the very rear of the building that could have let you out. Theobald found it last week. It was barricaded from the inside.
This building would not pass code.
Knib Knub, it is your turn.
He would never be able to get insurance.
Did I bite Tom? I gotta go chase after him and tell him I'm sorry. Okay. 25 feet. Everything's on fire. What the frick? I can just run past this fire, right?
Yeah. It's when you go through a space that has the red squiggles.
Oh, I had to roll a acrobatics there, right?
Yep.
Is a 32.
You're good.
Okay. And now I just have to run around this fire, I suppose. So Knib Knub is running straight south through the room, down the stairs. He sees that everything here is on fire for some reason. The whole room has been blown apart and is flamey everywhere. But I can see Theobald and Rottman Meyer through the flames, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to run over here, and then I'm going to jump over the fire.
Okay, acrobatics check or reflex.
31.
You are good, no damage.
Awesome. So Knib Knub just runs straight through the fire.
No cartwheel.
No cartwheel, just runs straight through. So after Knib Knub leaps through the fire, lands right next to Tom.
Okay.
And pats out some burning embers on his skin.
All right. Well, Rottman Meyer at this point, seeing more of these guys coming at him out of the building. You burned down my work. I'll just leave you in there to go down with it. And now he's going to cast Web.
Can't he only do that as a reaction?
No, it's a 3-action activity. So instead of moving or anything, he's going to cast Web on Knib Knub and Theobald. There's now sticky webs, some of which are burning up by the fire, but currently the squares you're in are trapping you in place. Well, might be trapping you in place. We'll see on your turn if you pass your saves or not. That brings us back around to Bimpkin, still in the vat room, all by himself.
Would you say that this hallway here, or this plankway, is at a slight incline?
A slight decline away from you?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, I think I'm going to rat folk roll.
Nice.
Because then I only have to use 2 actions.
Yeah, and unfortunately the planks are tilted inwards, so you're going to fall into the lava or the acid
I
pit.
don't think I have to do anything. I think...
It just works. You move 4 times your speed in a straight line, down an incline, you reach the bottom or hit an obstacle, you stop, rolling safely.
Yeah.
There you go. You're at the bottom of the stairs.
I don't have to make any reflex?
Nope.
Sweet. And then I will comfortably come to a stop and run. I think I can maybe even make it outside.
Into the web.
Oh, into the web. Oh, right. This is a whole web. Can I tell that there's a web
He
here?
fell right into his trap.
Yeah, you can see the closest square of webbing to you is currently incinerated, but the rest of the squares there that are marked in orangey red still have web in them.
Okay. He will not go into the web. Is this also a doorway? Sorry,
That's blown away. That whole corner is gone.
So on the east side, I can just go out that way.
Yeah.
That is 25 feet, so I'll do that.
You just have to make an acrobatics check through the fire.
Okay. We'll do that. 15.
Okay, so you pass. You're going to take 4 points of fire damage.
Done.
That brings us to Theobald. You are currently in the web, so if you try to move, that's when we start looking at reflex saves.
All right. Well, pretty sure I'm just going to try and move out of the web.
Okay, so it is an athletics check or a reflex save.
All right, so Theobald attempts to snake himself out, only to make it actually much worse for himself. I rolled a critical fail on my reflex saving throw at 13.
Hero point!
Yeah, you could use a hero point.
Hero point.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Yeah, I'm going to use a hero point to not get fall on my face.
Okay. Your last hero point.
Okay, I'm going to do my expert reflex save. 26.
That's a success. You're unaffected, and you used a reflex, so nothing else happens. You're good. You are out.
Sweet. Excellent.
And you can continue to use that move. You still have whatever your move speed was.
Oh, okay, sweet. So yeah, then I move basically into like the group of Rootmans, the Myers Club.
Oh, yeah.
And I quickly devise a stratagem.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will attack with that devised stratagem. I'm going to see what it takes to punch this guy. And if I were to punch one of them, I get a 32 to hit. Is that taking into consideration, like I'm deciding which one to punch? Or I won't know until I hit them?
You know that if you connect, you're going to be a 32.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to now use your last action of your turn to make that strike with a 32 on your roll, and we roll a d4 to see which one you hit.
Oh, I have one thing, a feat called Known Weakness. I'm not sure if it's included in the structure. I don't see Known Weakness under that roll.
When you use Devised Stratagem, you can also attempt a check with a Recall Knowledge as part of that action. If you critically succeed at the Recall Knowledge, you notice a weakness and get to add a +1 Circumstance bonus to that 32. So it would become 33 if you pass a Knowledge check on it.
Cool. And I can do that as it sounds like it's a free action.
Yeah.
Is that just a knowledge check?
It would be a Society check.
Maybe I see like he's got a pin. And I'm like, if I hit that, it'll hurt extra hard. I got a 24 on Recall Knowledge.
That is a success, but not a critical success, so you do not get the bonus.
Oh, okay, sweet.
You do know that this guy, due to his inebriation, is currently a little bit weaker than he normally would be. You also see that he is tiring, that he's running out of what he would be using for arcane energy to cast spells.
This is good. Okay, then yeah, I'm going to attempt to connect that blow.
Roll a d4.
I'm going to punch the second one that I see.
That means a mirror image is gone.
Darn.
So now there is a 1 in 3 chance of striking Rottman Meyer with an attack roll, and it is Willen's turn.
All right. Hearing the action and the voices, he runs back down to the south, to the other side of the building to see what's what. You can see Knib Knub and Theo, and obviously Rottman there. And he's 40 feet away. When I summon a construct, can I summon it to a certain location? Or is it just like right in front of me?
Summon construct is 3 actions.
Okay, never mind. Can't do that. So I have 2 actions.
Keep in mind, too, that if you're trying to hit him, like, he has the mirror images. So I think right now we should be using 1 action moves to just try to take out the mirror images if we can.
I know. I wish I was closer because then I can use Magic Missile to just knock him off. But that's...
Magic Missile is 120 feet.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that's my option then. He will take aim and fire twice at Rottman.
Using 2 actions?
Yep.
2 arrows, and roll just a d4 for each of those. Okay. The first one hits, so he takes 3 points of damage from the first one. And second attack hits a mirror image, so he is now down to 1 mirror image.
All right. And then I'm like, guys, it's the one from the first missile that I shot. That's a real one.
Then they immediately do a switcheroo and do a dance move, and you're confused again. Knib Knub, it is your turn.
He keeps doing that crazy dance move where he flips himself around.
I think they call that the rat folk roll.
All right, so I got to get out of these flames, right? And out of the web.
Yeah, you're currently not on fire, but you are standing in the web. If you are trying to move through the web, it is an athletics check or a reflex.
Nat 1. So it's a 14 total, but...
Hero point.
Yeah, a voice in my head says hero point, so I'm going to re-roll that one. Going to use my hero point.
Okay.
Oh, that is much better. That's probably a critical success. I got 32.
Almost a critical success. So you succeed, and you are able to move out of your space. Because you used athletics, you actually rip up the webs in the square that you were in. They're no longer there.
Get out of my way, you stupid spider poop. All right, I get out of there and head over to Rottman Meyer. Get on the other side of him to Theobald.
You now are flanking, so Rottman Meyer is flat-footed.
Yes. Knib Knub leaps out of he tears off the webs that are covering him, leaps out of the flames, and jumps out onto the non-burning grass, sees Theobald engaged with Rottman Meyer, and kind of sneaks around to the back of Rottman Meyer, and he's going to go for a bite.
Do it.
I'm going to bite one of you dancing freaks. 22 to hit.
That is a hit.
Nice.
Roll a d4 first to see if you get the mirror image. It's 1, 2. It's him. 3, 4 is the image.
I rolled a 4.
All right. Last image is gone. You have 1 action left.
Okay, so I took out the last mirror image, so that it's only him left.
Right.
Now I've got you. And Knib Knub's just going to tackle him. So I'm going for a grapple.
Okay.
Nice.
Is this at a -5 or not?
It is.
I love grapples.
So that's just going to be 18.
18 is not enough.
Too bad. Okay, next turn.
Okay. That brings us to Keemer Upman-Meyer. Surrounded by these fearsome-looking foes, Rottman Meyer think he's going to have to go for a vampiric touch, reaching out and grabbing Theobald, leeching some of your life force out to empower himself. This is a fortitude save for Theobald.
Don't worry, Theo. You're wearing armor.
Fully intact armor.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
I like that as a thing, just a shout out to people. Just be like, don't worry, you got this. You have fully intact armor. Your sword is super sharp.
No
Weed them.
spots.
Yeah. And Theobald holds his own with a 25.
That is a success. So you're going to take half damage. Half of 19 is 9.
Ooh.
So if it's only half, does that mean he turns into like Blade or?
He's half vampire. That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Daywalker.
And then Rottman Meyer, you see, absorbs some of that energy into his body. Some of his wounds you see start to like congeal and close back up. And then he, with his other hand, summons forth a... oh, geez, you know what? Gotta be honest here. Knib Knub gets a reaction.
Yes, I do. I was going to say that, but I figured you were doing something else, so I just saved it for that.
This happens before I do my next thing.
Okay.
Wait, why does he get a reaction?
Fighters can...
Yeah, I'm a fighter, and he's trying to do stuff in front of me, and that's
That don't fly.
not okay. Yeah, that don't fly with him. No.
So it's just the act of doing an action right in front of a fighter?
If he does an interact action,
Yeah.
and the somatic component, moving his hands and stuff in order to cast a spell, counts as a somatic action.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, for the listeners, I obviously know that.
yeah, you were just clarifying for everyone, which I appreciate. I rolled a 32.
That is a crit. You interrupt his spell, so take your hit points back.
Ooh.
Oh, the spell gets completely interrupted. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Oh, so Theo, you get your 9.
And he doesn't get his 9, which is awesome. All right, is he wearing any armor?
No.
All right, well, he's lucky then, because he would have been wrecked. All right, well, he will be having to take 1d6 bleed damage, and I'll roll my damage. So that'll be 20 damage.
20 damage, and he's bleeding for 1d6?
Yes.
Ay caramba.
That's what you get for trying to do stuff in front of me.
But you came in my place and you did stuff here first. And
Sorry.
His last action, he's going to cast Shield, conjuring forth a blue disc of energy that hovers in front of him and attempts to intercept the attacks. Bimpkin, it is your turn.
Oh, okay. Bimpkin's gonna burst through the last remaining door in this building. I think this is a door.
No, it's already blown up.
Oh, okay. So he
Surprise,
bursts forth
motherfucker.
Through the rubble.
through the rubble, and he's like, "Where is the dancing man? I will fight him." Sees one man.
All is lonesome.
We're all dancing together now.
Yeah.
And when Theo was observing that this guy was looking like he's running out of some magical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
did Theo announce that to the party, or was that just in Theo's mind?
Theo says his mind out loud.
Okay. Just wondering if the rest of us know that. I will cast my spiritual weapon.
Okay.
Bimpkin does little tippy-tap fingers, and a rat dagger appears in front of him. Actually, not in front of him, but in front of Keemer Upman.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure I can attack in the same turn I conjure it.
I think so too. It just takes all your 3 of your actions, actually.
Yeah, because it's 2 to conjure and then 1 to attack. So I will do that. 29 to hit.
That hits.
Ooh.
Nice.
12 damage.
That is a pretty solid hit. All right, Theobald.
I'm going to punch this guy really hard because I've had enough. I've had enough of this shenanigans. One arm, striking hand wraps, mighty blows. Take this.
That hits.
Beautiful. Takes 8 damage.
8 points of damage. We got 2 actions left.
I'm going to punch him again. 28.
That also hits.
I have a
Nice.
feeling this is going to be it.
10 damage.
He's still up, but near death.
All right. I'm going to punch him one more time.
The old combo.
no!
The punch, punch, punch. 13 is my final.
That misses.
Well, it was just meant to scare him anyways.
Maybe you threw him off balance for Willen. Willen, it is your turn.
All right. If I recall, he was holding a dagger. Is he still holding
Yes.
that dagger?
He sure is.
Then I am going to cast Heat Metal.
Nice.
He will be making his reflex save.
Got a 21.
He will take half damage. 8 more
Takes
damage.
8 damage and yelps as his dagger burns him. He doesn't have to drop it, though, so he's going to hang on to it. Knib Knub.
I'll go for a power attack. 18 to hit.
He currently has 20 AC.
All right. I've only got 1 action left, so I'll just go for a regular bite. That's 18 again. Sorry, guys.
No.
He does take a d6 of bleed damage.
That's at the start of his turn.
Oh,
All right.
Go ahead and roll it.
All right. 1.
Oh, no.
There he is, screaming, holding this red-hot dagger, blood dripping from the wound that he incurred. He's going to reach back, say, for the last time, I don't want to buy anything. And he's going to touch Knib Knub with a chill touch. Make a fortitude save.
23.
You succeed. You take half damage. I rolled 17.
8.
8. And another shield. Oh, I keep forgetting. You get to interrupt these.
Yes. That's going to be a 32 to hit.
That's a crit.
22 damage.
So Rottman Meyer, clutching his red-hot dagger, blood pouring from him, Knib Knub interrupts his final spell. Latching on with his teeth, Rottman Meyer falls to the ground, and from his body, this blue and purple energy springs forth and just evaporates into the air around you.
Whoa.
In the distance, you hear as another building begins to topple in the distance. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you once again for listening to The House on Carrion Hill. If you want to support the show, please find us on Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. I love compliments. You can find us on social media at The House of Bob on Twitter and Instagram. You could also join our Discord and come chat with us about pretty much whatever. We're pretty open there. Support us on Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to a whole bunch of one-shots, director's commentary, blog posts, zines. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Come check it out. I'd like to thank all our current patrons: Mortimer, Ben, Connor, Pedrig, Brandon, Ron, Team Eamon, Pavel, Christine, Tom I, Elias, Mark, Mary, Jessica C, Ray, Scooter, Tyler, Josh, Keith, Blucket12, Tom W, Jessica D, Kieran, Mike, Sylvia, and Luke. Artwork for this episode was by me, Shaun Makes. Audio production and sound design for the show is by Astronomic Audio, and music for this episode is by Mike Hammock. Roll on.
Rubman.
Rupman.
Rupman.
He's a man
Okay.
who rups.
Okay.
And then he is going to cast Web.
What does Web
I need
do?
you to make a reflex save.
But suing's better than dying.
Oh, no.
Of course.
Oh,
That is
Tells
a
us-
critical fail.
Okay.
12.
Oh,
All right, so a sticky web is created in the area that impedes creatures' movement each time they try to move through it. Squares filled with the web are difficult terrain. Each square can be cleared off the web by a single attack or effect that deals at least 5 slashing damage or 1 fire damage. square has AC 5 and automatically fails saving throws. Each time a creature in the web begins to use a move action or enters the web during a move action, it must make an athletics check or a reflex save against the spell DC to avoid taking a penalty to speed or becoming immobilized. So technically you haven't moved yet.
No.
So let's save that. Maybe you won't be immobilized.
This is gross.
Yeah, you are currently surrounded by spidery, silky, sticky webs.
Spider poop.
And they smell bad.
Oh, it is spider poop.
This reminds me of Knib Knub.
That was 2 actions.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on. Rewind.
Oh, no.
That's a 3 action. That's a 3 action spell. I can't do that. Alex, delete everything.
Oh, you couldn't even do that to me?
No, I could not.
Yay!
Let's see if I can do
But
something.
now we know if we do something to him, he can just spider poop everywhere.
Because I'm all about chance. Gambling, man. I just got to find the tumble button.
Wait, what if you picked up Bimpkin and then used Bimpkin as a weapon?
A Bimpkin flail, yeah.
If I did the rat roll, you could use me like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
So many good bowling ideas in this combat. We've really missed an opportunity, I think.
This guy's like secondary to Knib Knub now. It's like Knib Knub's the boss fight now.
I'm
This
the
guy's not even
real
the boss.
enemy.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys would just slap me around a bit, I'd probably wake up, actually.
That all you got? Enrique Iglesias' song playing "I Can Be Your Hero," baby. Starts
As the
starts
camera-
blasting.
I don't think we have the money for that.
Yeah.
The camera pans around as the music swells. Rottman Meyer, surrounded by Theobald, Knib Knub, and the Rat Dagger, all like locked in mortal combat. And the camera like sees Willen from across
Willen's
the
running there. He's
street,
like, "I got you, boo!"
and it's slow motion. Yeah, he's very, 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 very dead.
Okay, but I have some bad news that I've just realized.
What's that?
I could not have attacked with my dagger the same time because I moved and then I conjured it. I wouldn't have been able to attack. So you have to take off.
That was so long ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know when was the right time to say something.
3
whatever.
turns ago.
Okay.
The weapon can't make it. What? The weapon's. I don't care.
Okay.
It's too late. Alex, cut that. Cut it.
Yeah, we didn't make a mistake. Everyone else did.
Bump, bump, bump.
Is that good? Did we do good? Is that a good thing?
I did not
Seems bad.
expect. I did not expect that to take a whole nother session. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
All of this like spilling out into the streets and stuff was awesome, but not at all what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, it was a fun
Of
combat.
like,
Yeah.
I'm half imagining sort of like Knib Knub deals the final blow, and then it's like you just sort of describe everybody pausing after the deadly last blow is struck, and we all look over and we see a little old lady grocery shopping, walking home with her groceries out in the public eye. We're like, hi.
You
Well, she's
see
been looting,
this?
so she drops her crowbar and big screen TV.
Yeah, she's
And then
been
there's
looting.
another guy that's like, my cabbages.
My cabbages.